a prisoner to the sin that had me bound. And I spent my days pouring my life without measure into a little treasure box I thought I'd found. Until the day when Jesus came to me and healed my soul with the wonder of his touch. So now I'm giving back to him all the praise he's worthy of. And I've been forgiven, and that's why I love him so much. And I've come to pour my praise on him like oil from Mary's alabaster box. Don't be angry if I wash his feet with my tears and I dry them with my hair. No, you weren't there the night he found me. You did not feel what I felt when he wrapped his loving arms around me. You don't know the cost of the oil, no. You don't know the cost of my sin. You don't know the cost of the oil in my alabaster box.
It's my privilege to hand it over to the pastor.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot. Let me recover from that. You know, there was a church down in North Carolina. I knew the pastor. He would preach up here a lot. And he comes into the sanctuary one Sunday morning. He was a little late. The choir was already fired up. And they were praising the Lord and shouting, and it was just such a great service that he said he didn't feel like that he needed to even dare speak a word. So he walked about halfway down the aisle and looked at one of the ladies singing, and he said, "Shout it out, sister, I'm going home." Because there wasn't much he could add to that. I don't know if there's much I can add to what they did. Just that's one of my favorite songs. You know, I love being part of a exciting church. One that is not dead. If I went in a dead church, I think I would run from it like a burning building. See that little girl? And, you know, I'm sorry, Baptist, but dancing is all right. If it's a holy dance. If you feel like running the aisles or dancing, I don't care if it's for the Lord. I saw a Baptist church down south where one night the Lord got a hold of everybody in there, and the pastor didn't know what to do. So he took his jacket off and started whirling it over his head and shouting and praising God. And one guy got up and ran down the aisle and dove head first into the baptistry. I don't know that I would do that. First of all, our baptistry is only about 2.5 feet deep, I'd probably break my neck. But nonetheless, if the Lord gets a hold of you, you go right ahead. I don't like being in a dead church. I never have, and that's one reason why we have what we have. Because there are people here that's excited about worshiping the Lord. I remember one church in another state that Donna and I visited on a Sunday night one night, and it was so dead you could feel the cold draft coming down the aisle of that thing. It was more like a mortuary or a slaughterhouse than it was a church. And that reminds me of the church that was so dead and so boring that somebody called the rescue squad and said somebody in the church had died. And they took out 2 Sunday school teachers and 3 deacons before they got the right one. I don't want to be part of that. I want to be part of a church that believes in miracles. That little girl is a miracle. She ain't supposed to be here, but she's a miracle. And all of the things, I look around and see all of you that coming back from Arkansas, in Tennessee, they were right behind 2 tractor trailers that hit each other. And they were completely unscathed and saved. That's a miracle right there. On and on and on, you hear different people in here talk about miracles. A young man with a small family had become nothing but a drunk. And it was destroying his home, destroying his marriage, and destroying his children. And one night the Lord got a hold to him and he got saved. Well, when he went back to work, he was telling everybody about Jesus and what he had done for him. And somebody very sarcastically said, "You don't mean to tell me you believe all that junk in the Bible about Jesus turning the water into wine, do you?" And he said, "Oh, Jesus did a greater miracle with me when I got saved. He turned wine into milk for my children." So, yeah, he does miracles. And I'm going to look at one in Mark chapter 4. And let's see here. I'm in Matthew. There it is. Mark chapter 4 and verse 36, because the miracle we're going to look at here can apply to everybody in here, right here and right now, with whatever situation you may be going through. I believe that the Bible is written so we can apply it to everyday life. This is not a lofty book that we can never attain to any of the great things that went on in here, because they're still for today. And they were written so we would see that and know that the Lord can still do these things. In verse number 36 of Mark chapter 4, Jesus had been teaching the people. And it said, when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship. Now he had to get in a ship out from the water, out from the shore, to teach people, because there were so many thousands of people coming to hear him, and they were thronging him, and so he had to get out in a ship. And it said there were also with him other little ships. Now, it said there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship so that it was full. Maybe this morning your ship is full of water, and you feel like you're about to sink. And I could walk up and down the aisle here and talk to any number of you, and most of you are in some sort of a storm or another. It could be a relationship storm, a family one, a health one, a financial one, a spiritual one. I don't know what it is, but you've got a lot of difficulties up against you, and you feel like you barely got your head above the waves, and the wind is blowing. And hey, this world is not our friend. Please understand that. And we are at enmity with the things of the world, and the devil would love nothing better than to shut you down and to stop you and to kill you, and he would if he could. But you got to understand, because you are a child of God, if you're saved this morning, you're a child of God, you have the benefit of his protection. He is watching over you. There are, like I said, if you could order a pair of them X-ray specs that they used to sell in the back of the comic book back in the late 60s, and put them on. If you could buy some spiritual specs and put them on, it would probably scare you to death to see what's going on in this building here right now. There is a struggle for you. There is a struggle with the demons of hell trying to destroy you and the angels of heaven circling you and protecting you. It's a constant fight. But because you are a child of God, those angels are going to protect you, and they are way stronger than any demon could ever think of being. So I want you to not be discouraged when you are under attack. Be encouraged, because if the devil ain't after you, he's got you. When it all gets calm and there is no attack, you better worry. You better worry, because the devil's happy with you where you are. But if you are trying to serve God and you're trying to do right, it's going to be a struggle. And you're going to have everything in the world coming against you until the day you leave this earth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to preach the prosperity gospel and tell you if you follow God, you're going to be wealthy and healthy and wise. You might be wise, but you might not be healthy. You might not be wealthy, and you're going to have struggles. And so don't let nobody tell you, because you're going through a struggle, that you ain't where you need to be with the Lord yet. Don't ever tell somebody that, because then you're going to get a double whammy 10 minutes later thinking you're all high and mighty. All right, let me get off my soapbox here. And Jesus was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow, right in the middle of that. That reminds me of Donna. She don't mind me talking about her, I hope. I rarely ever see anything get to that woman. I've never seen her really shaken. And she's just as calm and steady. And I'm the one doing the hand wringing and rolling around in the bed like I'm on a rotisserie. 15 seconds after she lays her head down, she's out. No matter what's going on. If it bothers her, I would never know it. She is a woman of faith. Let me just put it that way. Great faith. And that's what I needed when I found her, because she helps pull me through a lot too. There are a lot of us that are what the psychologists refer to as a type A. We gotta be in the middle of everything. We gotta fix it. We gotta do this, we gotta do that. And you know, you can't fix a thing when these problems come along. You gotta have the Lord. You really do. A lot of you are looking at things right now that I don't care if you're a type A, B, C, or whatever type you are, you can't fix this. And that really frustrates us sometimes. But you've got to be able to step back and let the Lord deal with it. The Lord wasn't worried about that storm. He was asleep in the boat. It was filling up with water and the wind was whipping. Don't think he didn't know it. Of course he did. But he was putting them to the test, and he was going to teach them something. And it says they go and awake him and say unto him, Master, don't you care that we perish? How many of y'all, and please don't raise your hand, because I'll talk about you later on if you do. But how many of y'all would say, Lord, don't you care I'm going through all of this? Where are you? Kind of reminds me of a Catholic friend of mine that he had a 5-year-old daughter about the age of Amarissa. And he had never taken her to church. So Easter Sunday, he decided that they were going to go to Mass. And, you know, they have the icons and the statues and all in there. And they got there late. And a lot of times when you get to church late in some of these places, the only place left is the front row. And they had to do the perp walk right there in the middle of the service, all the way up front. And to make it worse, the little daughter ran ahead of everybody and stood in front of the priest and looked around and said, "Where's God?" Talk about crawling the whole time. But I told him, I said, man, I could do a dozen sermons off of that one. And maybe you are about like that 5-year-old girl her name was Katie, actually. You might be looking around and go, where's God? Well, he's here. Don't you worry about that. There is nothing that gets by him. He sees it. And look at what he did. He arose and rebuked the wind. He spoke to the wind. He got after the wind and said unto the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. I do that in a prayer quite often. When people ask me to pray for them or give them some advice about a terrible struggle they're going through, and you can do this too. When you walk up on a situation that can't be fixed only by God, you look at that and just say, "Peace, be still in the name of Jesus." And I kid you not, I have seen the most impossible messes fixed because of that. He doesn't pull you out of the storm. He walks through it with you. He's in the boat with you. And he stays with you even once you get out of that storm. I know a lot of people grimace when I tell this little story, and I've told it from the pulpit several times, and it sounds too supernatural to be said in churches. But God's a God of the supernatural. Let me tell you something, everything he does is supernatural. Don't ever think he can't do anything supernatural nowadays. The only thing that changed is us. He didn't change. And it's time we start living in the supernatural. That's how Christianity works. Donna and I we had a real big day when back years ago, it was 2016. We had just bought our Jeep and decided we were going to take it on its maiden voyage to Williamsburg. We were going down Interstate 64 at 70 miles an hour, and all of a sudden we run up on construction. It's before they had really put the signs out good to warn everybody, and you had to make a sharp curve and another sharp curve to get on track, and you had to slow down. But you didn't see it till you right up on top of the sign. Well, when we saw it, we put the brakes on and made the curve, and I looked up in my rear view mirror, and all I could see was tractor trailer. And it was so close to the bumper of my Jeep that I could see the look of horror on the driver's face. And he was trying to avoid smashing me. And about the only thing I could get out of my mouth was, "Oh, Lord, Donna, they're going to hit us." And at that moment, now, you know, that Jeep's got a little V6 in that thing right there, and it doesn't have much power. Something snatched that Jeep up on the road and shoved it about 100 yards down the road in a second of time. And all of a sudden, I looked up and the tractor trailer was putting his brakes on, and he was way behind me. And he looked relieved. And I looked relieved. And we couldn't get over it all the way going down the highway of how that Jeep got moved. Because it surely won't me. It had to have been the Lord. Then on top of that, tell you another one. When we got there, we had been walking around the park, and we were coming out of the area marked as Germany. We were coming out, and there was an elderly black lady that worked there, and she was changing the trash cans out. And she had just got, and there was a whole bunch of people walking with us, probably a couple hundred people right in a crowd behind us. And she had pulled that bag out and set it down, and then dropped everything and stared at us and started shouting, screaming, praising God, and saying, "Who are you? And what do you do for God?" And I said, "Who are you talking to?" And I looked and it was us. And I said, "Why are you asking?" She said, "Because I see a bunch of angels walking around the both of you. Who are you and what do you do for God?" She said, "I know you serve him, or else they wouldn't be doing that." And we are not special. Please do not misunderstand me. There is nothing special about her and I. We are regular folks. We're Christians. We got our problems just like everybody else. But all I'm telling you is that is for everybody. That's not just for a pastor. That is for everybody. Maybe not a deacon. I don't know. But anyway, it's for everybody. I'm playing. Y'all, the deacons need double the crowd around them. And we went up to the lady and we told her who we were and what we did. And we spent a wonderful time of fellowship with her, praising the Lord. And God opened her eyes for that moment to see that. That's all I could say. But I know they were with us on that trip the entire day. And I want you to understand that whatever problem you have, you got angels surrounding you. And like Jesus said, let not your heart be troubled. Whatever storm you think you're in, or you know you're in, or whatever's coming, he will walk through that storm holding your hand, buddy. Let me tell you, he will. And there are a lot of people, if I started getting people to come up here to testify about that, we'd be 4 o'clock this afternoon getting out of here. It's a fact. Matter of fact, this coming Wednesday, I'm going to give you a chance to give some of your testimonies if you want to at the upper room service. And so he said, "Peace be still." And the wind stopped, and there was a great calm. Ain't nothing like that great calm. The great calm lasts about 10 minutes. Let you get your breath and then get back into the next storm that's coming. Let's be realistic. But Jesus got up and rebuked the storm and told the very elements of nature, "Peace, be still." And if he can control the elements of nature, he can control the situation in your life as well. Please understand that. I don't want anybody walking out of here today discouraged because of what's going on in your life. Because he is able to walk through it with you, and he's able to shut it down when it comes to time. And then Jesus looked at them and he said, why are you so fearful? Why are you afraid? How is it that you have no faith? Oh my goodness. Oh, that all of us would have enough faith to believe that he is able and that he can take care of whatever storm there is. Don't worry about how big your problem is. You think about how big your God is. And it said they feared exceedingly and said one to another, what manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? If I was there, I'd tell them, I'll tell you what manner of man is. He's God. He's God in the flesh. And he is over nature. He's over you. He's over everything in here. So do not let your heart be troubled. You do what is right by God. You obey him. You walk with him. You follow him. And he's going to walk through all of this with you. You just do the part that you know to do, and that means to do what is right. And he'll take care of all the rest. I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what the bank says. I don't care what anybody says. The Lord has the last word. And that's a fact. Here comes one down the aisle now that the doctors thought they had the last word. Well, there he sits. An impossible miracle, but he's there. So I want you to understand this morning as we close that God is going to protect you through this situation if you will trust him and not be afraid. You cannot put your faith in man. You cannot put your faith in yourself, because the moment you do that, you're going to get discouraged. There is nothing going on in your life that God does not see. He loves you more than you could ever possibly imagine. And everything in a Christian's life works together for their good. You've got to believe that. You've got to trust that. And just simply obey him. And then let him do the rest of the work. Shall we stand? This morning, if you have never given your life to Christ, if you're not sure you're saved, please don't wait another moment, and please come down here and take one of the prayer warriors by the hand. Let them pray with you. Maybe you're in the middle of a storm, but you need to trust him more. Then come down here and just tell him, Lord, I trust you. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm not going to pick it up off the altar and carry it up to the building with me. Whatever your situation is, we've got to learn faith. We've got to learn trust. Come and let us pray with you this morning as Candy sings.
Come, every soul by sin oppressed, there's mercy with the Lord, and he will surely give you rest by trusting